From Julio Cruz and Gaylord Perry to Alvin Davis and Harold Reynolds to father and son back to back bombs. From Junior J, Joey, and Edgar with Randy, A-Rod, Dan, and the Sheriff to Ichiro Moyer and Mikey C to King Felix, Kyle Cruz, and Cano to the present with Julio, Gilbert, Kirby, and Cal. I don't believe it. It just continues. My, oh my, it's another sports podcast. Services, Vaden Podcast Services, bringing our show to life. Got to give a huge shout out to all our homies in the live chat. Thank you for the energy, the knowledge, and the takes you bring every Sunday evening. But of course, y'all know my man comes back wearing the 4-5. It ain't to play games with you. RG, what's up, bro?
Fun weekend, a lot to discuss, man. Let's have some fun.
Let's do it, baby. Let's do it, big bro. Well, here's the thing. I got to first give a huge shout out to our friends at Romantic About Baseball. I am always loving the 162 grind. I love the leather. I love the wood. So does my man RG. So shout out to our friends at RAB. We're just thrilled to be part of the team. But RG, this is a really interesting one. It's a trade that shocked me, and I got to get your take, man, because you tell me you want to see the team make win now moves, but they also traded one of your favorite prospects. Talk to me about the Harry Ford trade.
Um, Still not overly into prospects. Going back to the last conversation with this one, I thought this guy had some promise, and now he's off to see what he can do somewhere else. Harry Ford, first round pick in the 2021 MLB draft, and Pipeline's number 42 overall prospect, was sent to the Nationals in exchange for hard throwing lefty Jose A. Ferrer, if I'm am I saying that right? Ferrer, uh, who who the club's hopes will become much needed second southpaw in the pen. And also going to Washington is right-handed pitching prospect Isaiah Lyon or Leon. If I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, I apologize. Isaac, I know nothing about. Not going to front. I know nothing about Isaac. With Harry though, I thought that we were grooming Harry to come up and finally get a chance. He sat enough time, and now with Garver gone, you had mentioned a few episodes ago, using Harry more to give Cal those days off. Cal played a
Mm-hmm.
lot of baseball this year and did a lot of production. But when you see Cal, you know what it is. That guy can't put that body on those knees, regardless if they teach catching on one knee now. That guy can't put that body on those knees that many times a year, and us expect him to have the same production level. We're going to burn him out and turn him into Joe Mauer.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you had an excellent point when you said they could use Harry Ford to spell a lot of that time, especially because you can get his hitting to come around. Now he's not there. So what are we going to do in the offset? Are we going to go after a second catcher? Is there anyone else that's in the pipeline that can come up to fulfill that need? I'm not sure because if they were, they would have already been in that position. But I'm not against the move completely because we did need some help in our bullpen. And from what I've been reading about Ferrer, I hope I'm saying his name right. From what I've been reading about Ferrer is he has good stuff and is a teachable and and is a teachable guy that can potentially grow into having elite level. I don't mind Spire at all, but Spire does leave a lot of pitches out over the plate at times.
Mm-hmm.
And they say that this guy's potential is his movement and his pitches. So, and Aaron Nola is now coming back to be a pitching coach as well
Yeah.
too, a bullpen coach actually. So let him work with Nola. Let him get his technique developed. Munoz had a good year. Let's get some health coming back up. Haven't read anything about the health status of Thornton recently. I don't like to see Ford go, especially because now we don't have anyone that can help spell Cal behind the plate. We still have some other moves we need to get the offense a little bit better. And I just don't want us to have to look position specific in order now to actually find a backup for Cal.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I'm not against Ferrer at all.
No, this is actually a really interesting trade to me, man, because at first I was kind of frustrated because Tommy saying hits on deck, we got fleeced. That was my kind of initial reaction. But let's look at a couple of things, RG. The Mariners decided to carry three catchers in the ALCS, which is usually completely bizarre. They didn't even insert Harry Ford into any meaningful situation. I don't judge people by what they say, I judge them by what they do. And by the Mariners not having any willingness to have Harry Ford catch in any critical or even important situation, it leads me to believe that they don't think that he can handle the pitching staff at an adequate level right now for a team that's aspiring to win the World Series. That doesn't mean he can't down the road necessarily, but it's a tricky one, man. And I'm frustrated too, dude, because I stand on this. When you're a middle market team, RG, you got to think outside the box a little bit. And you are so right. The last thing the Mariners need, because they made the investment now too. They made the $150 million investment in Cal Raleigh. You got to protect your investment. And we might wear this dude out in 3 years if we push him too hard. And then Cal's career is not as productive. The Mariners are not as good as a team. And you're wasting millions and millions and millions of dollars. But, RG, there's no question in my mind that the bullpen is much better today because of it.
Just the yin and yang and give and take. Not everything is going to go the way that you always want it. Um, hmm, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, it's a tough one,
And
RG.
it's not anything against Ferrer, and God. I hope I'm saying his name right. Not anything against him at all. We definitely need some more arms out of the bullpen, just because you never know who's going to go down, when they're going to go down, when they're going to be taxed, and just having someone fresh. I mean, I don't want to go back to this team so often, but look at how game six, or not game six, the marathon game went for the Dodgers in the World Series. That guy used to be a Mariner, and that dude was sitting on the couch. With Dodgers gave him a chance to be able to come up. So I like I like the aspect of having someone who in his in the scouting report for him says that he's teachable. I do like that.
Mm,
But to
yeah.
assume that Cal's going to have another one of those magical type of years, I mean, that dude caught a lot of games. That dude caught a lot of games, and it just to give him a little bit of a break. I really thought that, like you said, we were going to keep forward and be able to keep moving. But
And there's factors to this
apparently, they
too.
know more than we don't.
Well, it's also an economic market, RG. In every economic market, there's ebbs and flows. And here's something I'm looking at. If you have a reliever who has substantial potential, and this young man, Jose Ferrer, is only 25 years old, he's not going to be a free agent until 2030. I'm looking right here. Ryan Helsley just locked down 2 years, 28 million. 16 million, that's a ton a year for Helsley. I'm looking at my boy, big or high lev Dev, man, one of my favorites. 3 years, 51. We saw what Josh Hader got recently. We got Andres Munoz is one of the best bargains in baseball right now, RG. I believe he's in like that 5, 6, $7 million range. Seeing what relievers of any sort of quality level are getting right now. And so if it's so expensive to just buy a free agent pitcher, that drives up the value for a young, cheap, controllable prospect. And the other factor that's working against the Mariners is conventional wisdom says you trade Harry Ford because clearly he's blocking Cal. That's conventional wisdom. I was kind of hoping, like we said a few times already, they were going to zig when people say zag. But this is the fun of the baseball hot stuff, RG. And for y'all don't know, if you haven't, YouTube Jose Ferrer, watch him for a few minutes. He might only be a two-pitch pitcher, but his fastball, sinker, changeup combo is absolutely devastating. It's got at least a 10 mile an hour difference or not more, depending on the pitch. And RG, you kept saying a few times to me just now, you love how he's teachable, you love how he's coachable. Well, here's something I'm looking at. The Mariners are great at helping pitchers develop sliders. The Mariners organization loves the pitch, the slider. Well, guess what? Ferrer has used his slider only 7.5% of the time, but it's yielded a 105 average against. This might actually be a perfect marriage down the road in terms of the Mariners helping this guy reach a level that he hasn't seen in his career yet.
Again, the ability to have extra firepower coming out of that bullpen to kind of spell our our starting rotation and a guy that has electric stuff. I mean, you can't really be mad at this trade. Man, I just thought that Ford was going to get a chance, and now we're lacking someone to be able to back up our most prized possession. So it'll be interesting to see how they're going to go about being able to fill that.
Mm,
But hey, man, shout out to Harry Ford, man. I to get a chance to play. Hopefully, hopefully he still gets a good rub with England in the World Baseball Classic. I
mm.
have nothing against Harry Ford, man. I want to see him succeed, and if this opens the door for him to have a successful career, hats off to him, man.
I could honestly see a boy from Albuquerque, Mitch Garver. I think the Mariners have a really good chance of possibly bringing him back because if he's paid as a backup catcher should, he would be really valuable to the team. We just gave him a 2-year, $24 million deal to be a slugging DH, and that was not him. We know the pitchers are comfortable with Mitch. We know the coaching staff's comfortable with Mitch. So I think that is actually really realistic possibility in bringing back Garver. I just want to point out though something, RG, and so Jose Ferrer is in the 99th percentile for ground ball rate. He gets ground balls like no one's business. A lot of people are saying his ERA got inflated in Washington because they have very, very subpar infield play. But I'm here to tell you the Mariners, for the most part, have very subpar infield play, RG. And so we're going to need to have better fielding to even make this sort of ground ball phenom worth it. Like I was so hyped to get Fergie. If you don't have a sweet infield, how valuable is a dominant ground ball pitcher, anyways? RG, I looked it up. J. Pre Crawford's in the first percentile for shortstop range. There's probably only one guy in baseball with less range than JP. Cole Young, young prospect. You think a guy in his young 20s is going to be able to move? He is in the very, very bottom for second base range. You want to know what was freaking crazy according to Google Statcast, man? The According to Google Statcast, Jorge Polanco displayed better range at second base than Cole Young this season. I'm not going to write off Young long term, but we all think that Polo shouldn't be out at second every day. And according to the analytics, he has more range out there. I don't know exactly what we can do except for pray that Cole Emerson can be ready to go for 2026, RG. But my eye test told me JP was not the shortstop he once was. The analytics are telling me that, and I just wish there's a way we could get into second, but I don't know if that's realistic for 2026.
How old is JP now? Because it seems it just time has flown with it. I still remember when he signed with the team. I was excited to have him, and I guess just not watching the calendar and the clock just like sand in the hourglass, man. It's just it almost looks like his better. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Well, my main man looks like he's trying to figure that stuff up right now, and I think Mariners Lifer honestly put it absolutely perfect. He thinks we overpaid, but for good reason. And I don't even think it's a vast overpay, but sometimes to get what you want in life, you got to put forth a really strong offer. The Mariners don't seem to have the leverage that we want. So,
Hey, man, winter meeting starting. Can you hear me? Okay. You can hear me? All right. Winter meetings start tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, or they might have some of them might have even gotten going today. It'll be interesting to see what type of plan that they cook up. We know we already had given some good money to Naylor, paying the extensions for Cal and everything. So there's still some holes we have to fill to be able to get this team moving. I would love to see if we can get a club friendly feel, club friendly deal for Mitch Garver. Be able to come back. That was something I hadn't thought of as well too. Um, just don't know how enjoyable it would be looking for a backup catcher,
mm,
especially when we need to figure out what we're going to do with JP. I personally would like to see Polanco come back. I had no idea about those range numbers. I'm just big on how he fits in with the team.
mhm.
Just the same way that Naylor wanted to be here. You could almost get that feel for Jorge, but they are going to have to pay him, and just hope that doesn't hinder us from still being able to go out to find out who's going to fucking play third base for us this year, as well too. Justin and Jerry got a lot of work to do,
They do.
and like I say, well, winter meetings, believe they start in the morning, so let's see how they cook this one up. It'll be real interesting.
I'm glad you mentioned that they got a lot of work to do, man, because the 2026 team is not the 2025 team by any stretch. The second the World Series ended, you no longer have three of the top hitters on your team. That's a third of the lineup. RG, I'm going to like this move so much more if because he's a cheap labor player. I'm going to like this move so much more if it's part of the big scheme where we're able to bring in two more bats to really solidify the lineup the way it needs to be done without waiting until halfway through the season. If this is just a standalone move, I'm going to criticize it much more down the road. But if the Mariners, I do think this is part of the plan because I'm seeing what these relievers are getting. RG, you heard me pound the table to go after some of these big fish, but these dudes are getting almost as expensive as a quality starting pitcher. It's insane. And so, if it's all part of the big scheme, I'm 10 toes down. I just got another question then because you clearly expressed some frustration about yet another hole at third base. What would your feelings be if they went to Ben Williamson to start the season?
Is he is he hot coming out of Peoria,
Okay.
or if he's hot coming out of Peoria, I'm with it. I'm with it. If he's swinging a good bat, I think he's capable of it. We just need offensive production out of it, and if we're because Suarez's numbers don't really translate into the American League like they did in the National League, so I'm not going to judge him based upon that. But if he's coming out and he's swinging a hot bat, if if he can give us 250, that might be a little too much. If he can give us 240, I take it.
Okay. I
Or
gotta be
get
real.
maybe in a lot more reps.
I'd be disappointed. I'd be really disappointed. And I'm a huge B Wolf fan, man, but I mean, you got to have some sort of power out of third base. Am I crazy?
I
Am I
of
too
course would love to
traditionalist?
see. No, you need you would want in building a traditional baseball lineup. I think that you would want that. What our problem is going to be is after Naylor, how far does Stanton pull in the reins? If he's serious about the article he put out that he wants to bring a World Series title to the Pacific Northwest, that payroll, like what were you saying? It needs to be around 185, 190,
They would easily
realistically,
win the World Series if
to
they did that. I
be able
swear
to
to
get it done.
Christ.
So we to be able to go out and spin, see if we can quickly uh, pull up the availability of a third base market for free agents, see what we'd be looking at. Because of what a lot of people in the Mariner Forum are screaming for Bregman. I don't think we're going to be able to afford Bregman.
No, that's not going to
Uh,
work right now.
Third base free agents.
I just don't think there's really that good of a match unless Suarez's value tanks on the market, which it could, because there's going to be a fear with Suarez, man. Although he's had such a good career, he had such a great season with Arizona last year. He is a huge swing and miss player who is getting way into his 30s, RG. There's going to be a major cliff drop off for Suarez in the next couple of years, and teams aren't going to be want to still giving him the bag when that day happens. If the Mariners play the long game here throughout free agency, getting towards spring training, they might be able to get Suarez back on a bargain because I feel teams are going to be kind of wary about his potential fall off while paying him big money when that happens.
All right. Bregman tops the list, followed by the two Nippon Japan players, Mirakami and Okamoto. Uh, and they're both going to get some crazy contracts thrown at them.
Mm.
Fourth on the list is Gino, followed by Juan Moncada, IKF, Paul DeJong, and Miguel Andahar.
Ish.
The bottom half of that list screams retread project. Gino's, you know what you're going to get with Gino. If the deal is friendly, go for it. I see no chance at Bregman, and we're not going to get any type of bidding war with the elites and payroll spending for Mirakami or Okamoto.
Mm. Hmm. I think you brought up a
Uh,
fantastic point right there, RG, because the national baseball landscape still views the Mariners like they're this, Kasasaki and Ichiro Suzuki and all Iwakuma. We've had so many Japanese players. The Mariners don't have a single Japanese player right now, and honestly, I think it's kind of a smart way to maneuver in the business of baseball. If you're not going to be a top spender, why waste your money on a transfer fee? These guys, although they're usually really good ball players, this is a big jump up from 4A, we'll call it, to Major League Baseball, man. And so it's a risk that I don't know if the Mariners should be taking. And honestly, they've done great with American domestic players, and they've done great with Hispanic players in those academies across, the Dominican, Venezuela, etc. So I think they just need to stay in that lane, man. But dude, let's pound the table. We got work to do, man. And I'm so glad Mariners Lifer chimed in, man, because I do think you need a real threat at third. The only way you can get away with it is if you have a Robinson Cano type of production at second. Give me Brett Boone on all that juice in 01, baby. But if you don't got that, man, you really got to have some power at third. So the Mariners clearly got to figure something out. And okay, RG, I'm gonna throw this out there again. Maybe bringing in Cattell Marte at second base gives you that flexibility to put B Will at third because we know we can flash the leather.
I'm still trying to remember who was involved. And McKay was a Mariner at one point, right? I'm
Yeah,
not tripping on that. Yeah.
it was
I'm trying to
Marte and
see
Taiwan Walker, and we received Mitch Haniger and Gene Segura.
Gene Segura.
Gene, the hitting
Uh,
machine.
That guy. Uh, can
I
we
see an
can we invest in a
exasperated look.
time? Can we invest in a time machine and find a way to go get Kyle Seager back from like 6 years ago?
Yeah, no doubt. That would be perfect.
I I know IKF makes a lot of contact, but we're like you said, if we're looking for someone for impact, you don't think IKF as a game changer on the corner there. Would love the defense and would love someone that actually just goes up and their job to put the ball in play. But I think we need a little bit more than that. And what we that third might have to be the position that we have to platoon a little bit between B Willie and a couple other guys until we can get to see who's a
Mhm.
buyers and sellers and where we're at. Um, or do we prioritize third over second right now?
I think there's a legit chance that Colt Emerson surprises, crushes spring training is an opening day starter. And here's something I want to get into too, then really quickly is if he is ready and can help the ball club, the Mariners better not fuck around with the time, service, manipulation shit that all these ball clubs pull. I understand why they do it. They get that extra year of player control. But if you got a guy that can help the ball club now, we cannot be worrying about 6 or 7 years down the road so we can have one more year before free agency. If you got a guy like Colt or anybody else who can help the ball club now right out of spring training, they got to be in.
Kevin Mather's gone, so I'm not worried about that. Right.
Good shit, dude.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's talk some football a little bit.
Let's do it.
You're temporarily for about 2.5 hours. Your boys had the #1 seed, but the Rams also got to feast on the team. It's not having a good season as well too. That NL still talking about baseball. The NFC West race looks to be extremely competitive. San Francisco has a division record of 8-2. That's going to make some tiebreakers interesting. Uh, Seahawks, man. The only thing I really noticed about the game, uh, Rashid, I'm fast as fuck. I guess that's his name. Uh, just no chance. That first crack he got in the opening wave of defense coming in to stop him. I mean, that poor kicker stood no chance. He should
Mm.
have faked an injury. It would have looked better than him getting ran by in fucking slow motion. But talk about the Ravens getting robbed. I don't know, man. We'll see. Uh, yeah, man. Looks like you guys in the Rams are going to have a good little battle over the next few weeks to see who's going to get one, who's going to end up in five.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. It's so fun to watch a ferocious defense, though, RG. You know this. You saw your Eagles defense kick the shit out of quarterbacks all their way to the Lombardi Trophy, baby. It's so fun to watch, though, man. Devin Witherspoon, so physical for a cornerback, making plays, deflections. And RG, I love that the DBs are tackling. Great, hard form tackles, knocking your opponent back, wrapping up like G's. Nick Emenwari, how fun is that dude to watch? That's the fun part is this team has guys that are just so fun to watch. What an exceptional player with blocked field goals, sacks, picks, deflections. Mike McDonald is so smart on how he uses his blitzes. I'm sure Tyson Baxter is sick to his stomach because Mike McDonald looks like one of the fantastic young coaches in football. RG, we were talking about this before I went live with you here, man, and this is going to be a really tough team to beat down the stretch. Now, I know I'm with you 100%. The they're playing not a first place record, but the bottom line is they're 3-3 against winning teams. So those three losses are a total of 9 points. But I just see a defense that's really, really borderline special at every single level. I can't emphasize enough how fun it is to watch, and I think the Seahawks have done such a great job moving on from Russell Wilson. The fruits of their last three good drafts are showing on the tree right now. But I want to juxtapose that with Atlanta, who was flipping terrible, RG. They are run so poorly right now. It was really hard to watch. The game was actually 6-6 at halftime. And I was thinking, wow, Atlanta's defense really flying around. Objectively speaking, they were flying around and playing more physical than our offense was. The script flipped and the Seahawks absolutely bombarded them. I believe it was 31-3 in the second half after going in tied. But terrible, terrible mismanagement of resources, RG. Your boy Howie Roseman would never do this type of shit. They spent the eighth pick of the draft on Michael Penix in the same offseason as giving Kirk Cousins $100 million guaranteed. $100 million guaranteed, and the eighth pick in the draft are as prime time real estate capital as you can have in the NFL. They completely wasted a golden opportunity to build their team and get their quarterback. They went both at once. Kirko's not that same player. He was only solid to decent to begin with. I love Penix, but his knees can't hold up in this high level of football, RG. And seeing just what a mess I feel Atlanta is as an organization right now makes me feel lucky that I have John Schneider in the Seahawks. And since your team is the reigning world champion, you must feel really good about how your organization is run also when you see this sort of shit across the league.
Who was it that mentioned something about getting fleeced earlier? Tommy hits on deck. You want to talk about a fleece in your own time? Go look up how much money Kirk Cousins has made in the last 6 years. I'd give anything to be as mediocre as my job as Kirk Cousins and walk away with the amount of money that he has been paid over the last 6 to 7 years. Just in your free time, go look it up. It'll piss you off. Um, you guys avoided what I like to call the scary hours time, just looking up at the screens and seeing what was going on today while trying to get through some finals, which I need to get back here to do shortly too. Um, when it was 6-6, was like this. This could be one of the days where someone who's not supposed to be here can find a way to make it to midnight. But then the kickoff just changed everything, and things went right back to normal. And as Bomani Jones likes to say, the Falcons went right back to being the Falcons.
Mm.
But from looking at your schedule, you got it all. You got a chance to do what Minnesota couldn't do last year and play from up underneath the Lions. So you got the Colts next week, and oh man, the one thing I did see in real time, just because I happened to be looking up the TV at the time, Daniel Jones's injury was nasty, man.
Yep.
He dropped back for a pass, went to turn. There was no one around him. You could see it the second it happened on TV, and just went straight down, no contact. And then they just announced that it is a torn Achilles, and will have surgery. So you'll either get the Colts, and then Anthony Richardson is still out. I guess he got hurt, got hurt in the locker room um, to start the season. It has been on the injured list for it. So you're going to get a Riley Leonard led Colts coming into Seattle, handling your business, and then it gets
He's
fun
not ready
for
for
you.
this shit, dude. We just
Yeah,
saw
so
a rookie quarterback completely melt down last week, RG.
yeah,
The
yeah.
tests are
Just to
coming,
let
though. The
Jonathan,
tests are coming. We'll see how real the Seahawks are. But as of right now, they're playing some fantastic football.
the only real thing that I'm happy about is if I end up if Mahomes gets me enough points tonight, I end up with the number one seed in fantasy and a
There we
bye next
go.
week, so I don't have to worry about you guys not letting Jonathan Taylor help me win some money. Then after that, you got the matchup that everyone wants, and you'll have the Rams, you'll have the Panthers and the 49ers. So, four wins. Well, three wins basically. Let's just count the Colts just because they're hurting right now. So of those last three, you got to get the Rams. You got to get the Rams to
Absolutely.
eliminate the tiebreaker, and all goes well. Even Stephen A. said that he had you guys picked to be the number one seed, and there's a short list that he put out the other week. So it's all there for you. It's all there for you. And playoff games in Seattle are fun to watch on TV. I'll give you
Hmm.
that.
Oh, they're fun to be at too, big dog.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this
Yeah.
again though. The turnovers like Sam Darnold's doing a better job protecting the ball overall. And I seem critical of him this year on Mike, but he's actually, if we paint the entire picture, Sam's had a really, really good Pro Bowl type of season. But he has had so many Brett Favre-ish bone-headed plays. RG, he had another one today. It's about 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. He's rolling to his left. Atlanta has fantastic sticky coverage on everybody. He tries to force it into a window to Arroyo, which there is no window to throw into. I don't care. Name your favorite quarterback ever. There is no window to get that ball in there. It pops up and is intercepted. The Falcons get great field position. If it wasn't a team that's not doing so horrible this year, if we're playing a good team, they capitalize. And the Seahawks 3 losses, late game turnovers were, and the 4 picks against the Rams have all been just critical back breaking turning points of those ball games. So once again, my boy Sam, you are protecting the city's hopes right now. You're protecting the region's hopes, man. Protect the Rock, man. He has got to do it because this defense is ready to roll.
Fun weekend next weekend for you. Real fun weekend. Um,
I don't talk about your Eagles,
keep
man.
understanding that.
I do.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. The most exciting thing that happened to us was someone actually found out where Kevin Patullo lives and went and helped him out with the late night omelet.
If y'all don't know, offensive coordinator Patullo for the Philadelphia Eagles got his house egged over Thanksgiving weekend of all things. It's always sunny in Philly. It is always sunny in Philly, man. But it's a trip, man. So I just want to go back to the Black Friday game really quickly. I'm not trying to give you scars of your team not coming through there, but the offense was stagnant, struggling, and not moving the ball for nearly the entire game. They finally opened the offense up and they almost make a crazy heroic comeback. They fall short. Saquon has struggled to get holes and burst through them all year. But once they opened up the offense, running lanes appeared. Saquon's ripping off 12 and 13 yarders. I was pounding the table early, RG. I'm a huge proponent of running the ball, but your Eagles need to throw some more first pitch sliders, in my opinion, to really get this train rolling because they still have a chance to do this thing.
I thought the most valuable weapon that we had on our offensive line was Lane Johnson. To come to find out that the most valuable weapon we had on our offensive line was Makai Becton.
Mm.
Jurgens isn't healthy. Dickerson isn't healthy, and that's no excuse because it's the National Football League, and there's a lot of teams playing with a lot of unhealthy guys. What I just find frustrating, and I never played football, so I can't tell you the dynamics of how an offense works. I can't tell you a gap, all that other kind of stuff in the terminology, and especially an intricate thing like a passing tree. What's frustrating is to watch how other teams can scheme their guys open. And that just doesn't seem what we're doing. We are running a very basic, and I can't even say it's a basic Pop Warner offense because those kids are able to put up more points than we are. I just don't get having all the offensive talent in the world, no creativity on offense to be able to help. And then some uncharacteristic fumbles by Saquon this year have kind of been backbreaking as well throughout the course of the year too.
Mm.
I just don't get what we're doing. I wanted to throw Pachulo completely under the bus. Like you've been here, you've been around, you saw what worked, you saw what didn't work, then you saw what worked, and then now you're at the helm, and we're back to what's not working. I don't know if it's a combination of just Stanford Steve, who co-hosts with Scott Van Pelt, says the effort's the easiest thing to give. Just the want to, and sometimes our want to has just not get it. I know he's been open, but Jalen can't, for some reason, can't get him the ball. I don't know if he's trying to protect his touchdown to interception ratio. I would like him to take a little more risk than what he does. He says he's staying controlled in what's being called in the offense, but I've seen Tom Brady go out and change plays. I've seen Manny go out and change plays. All of us know Omaha by heart because of Manny. I just don't get what our struggles are and why we can't hit Goddard a couple times and get to see if you could loosen something up. I don't know what we need to do to get Saquon going, but I do know that the main difference is obviously the health of our offensive line, and I'm not using that as an excuse because everyone's banged up. It's professional football. But when I look at the difference of our line from last year to this year and us not having Makai Becton, I guess that guy was able to open up some crazy shit for him.
Mm.
Just
Well, health
I
matters
just
though
don't
too,
get it, man.
RG. Like I'm not going to discount that at all because here's a huge factor. It's health to your critical players. And you know what's happened in Seattle, RG? The Seahawks have had incredible good luck on health to their key players this year. That shit absolutely matters. Everybody gets injuries. Everybody, you're right, but does it happen to your very, very best players, or does it happen to a guy that you can bring in your backup? Like Julian Love's a fantastic safety. Ty Okada has been an absolute baller backing him up. You can't find Landon Dickerson's off the bench in the NFL. A Landon Dickerson not starting does not exist in this league. And these guys have been playing banged up all year. It does make a difference, but
And then you
Tyson's
see
asking
when we
coaching or
have
Jalen, man. What do you think? Coaching or Jalen? What's
it's hard. It's hard for me to get off the Jalen train, man. It really is hard for me because I've seen that dude do nothing but win. But when things are going bad, and it's just hard to tell because his expression never changes. We could be up by
mhm.
30 in the Super Bowl and he looks like we're down 28. I I do I will say this. I know that he is a little bit capped in his ability to be able to move the ball down the field, but then when he throws a deep ball to AJ when he actually does, it's one of the prettiest things you've ever seen. It's just frustrating. It's just frustrating with it. But hopefully we have some time to be able to get it right. I think we need a win against a competitive team like the Chargers are. If if we end up losing to the Chargers and they can't figure out a way to put up points against Oakland, all hell's gonna burn loose. They're talking about they're talking about the Cowboys have a tax rate percent chance of making the playoffs now, and that they can't catch San Francisco. They won't need to catch San Francisco if we can't figure out a way to start moving the ball down the field and win some games. The team they're going to end up catching is us.
Mm, mm.
Sirianni said he's going to get more involved in the offense. We got to figure something out, man. But it's just ugly to watch the Philadelphia Eagles offensively play football. It
It
just
kind of
truly
is.
is.
You know, I have a concern though for the Eagles too, and it's because I've been able to just from afar. I just feel I could rely on their defense at all costs. But that game against the Bears is really worrisome, man. You give up almost 300 rushing yards, man. You know that Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers, and you just referenced Makai Becton being such a crucial player last year. Well, now you get to match up against him on Monday night. You got Omari and Hampton coming back after that Black Friday running defense fiasco by the Eagles. You know the Chargers are going to be coming downhill. I kind of like it, man. I have a feeling this is going to be kind of a bit of an old school slugfest, and if your Eagles are ready for the test, they can do it. But they got to be ready, man. You know how the league and Harbaugh seen that film, and they know that they just got gouged in the run game.
They were bound to break. They were bound to break. They pretty much won the game against Green Bay and Detroit. And when you look at how good Green Bay and Detroit looked since then, it's a miracle we didn't end up getting boat race those games. But that just speaks to how good that defense actually is. But they're not going to be able to carry it if the offense doesn't give them something. And hopefully tomorrow night's the beginning of us giving something, or those footsteps from Jerry World are going to get real close if we can't figure out a way to be more productive on offense.
No doubt, no doubt, man. Well, we've been speaking football, man, and we really go heavy Mariners and heavy NFL on this show. But I know college football is near and dear to your heart. The playoff bracket came out today, and there may be a couple of surprises to some people. There's a couple of teams from conferences most people don't really know. But I know you love college football, man. Lay it on me what you think about the college football playoff and any of these contenders.
I may be an outsider, but you know how I feel. If you don't care about my opinion, you can press fast forward. I think they absolutely got it right. Um, the only the only thing I may have a question about is Texas A&M, but they they lost late, and in college football, losing late is is a detriment to what you're trying to do.
Mm,
Um, I'm not mad at Ohio State being two. It's the it's the best loss that anyone has had, and them losing to the number two team, playing them the way that they did, is better than Georgia losing to Alabama. So I'm not mad that Ohio State is two. And speaking of Alabama, I'm actually glad that they got in. You shouldn't be penalized for being the number one seed and making your conference tournament championship game.
mm,
Um, while Oklahoma and Texas A&M sat down and did nothing, they shouldn't. Alabama should be penalized for that.
mm.
Did they put up a good effort? Absolutely not. But you know they were the number one seed going into it, so how could you fault them for that? The one that I'm okay with that is causing a lot of uproar right now is Miami and Notre Dame. I get that Northern Miami had two losses to Louisville and SMU, while Notre Dame's two losses were to Miami and to Texas A&M, who is a one-loss team who had a chance to fight for their division. They made the results matter, and I'm
Hallelujah.
happy about that. They made the results matter. My Lobos beat. We finished in a four-way tie between the Lobos, Boise State, San Diego State, and UNLV. The Lobos beat UNLV and San Diego State throughout the course of it. Then they threw it in the computer, and the computer spits out that UNLV is the second best team in the conference, so they got to play in the conference championship game. And was like, how do the results not matter? Make the results matter.
Mhm.
If there's make the results matter, and they did that with putting Miami over Notre Dame. I get that if you were to run the comparison and play that game again today, that Notre Dame would be favored. But guess what? They played the game and Miami won.
Yeah, you're
They
goddamn
made
right.
the result matter.
Mhm.
They made the result matter. For people who were upset about Duke not getting in, Duke lost five fucking games this year.
Fuck yeah, bullshit. Yeah.
Duke got five fucking games this year, and a six-way tiebreaker is what decided the ACC. Sorry, man, I'm not having that. And Manny Diaz got up and said, "Well, James Madison doesn't have one Group of Four win, which is right, but you can only play the schedule, and a lot of you guys don't schedule anybody who you think can beat you." What alarmed me and pissed me off this week was the announcement that a lot of these schools have been changing their schedule and dropping competitive games off their schedule to go get non-competitive games because the committee is just concerned on the number of wins you have and not who you beat. That's disgusting. That's the one thing I do miss about the BCS era was they want to see you beat somebody and they want to see you stomp them down.
Mm.
Uh, Having a playoff is better than it just having picking two teams, but just their metrics were all over the place. And I'm okay with two group of five teams getting in. You said what the criteria was you would take the highest ranked conference champions. And if you let a 7-5 team win your conference, you lose your seat.
Okay. Well, I mean, Miami
You
needs to
lose
be
your
in.
seat.
They're the best team, and I don't know why they wanted to overcomplicate it, man. You're so. What are we talking about? They have the same record and they beat Notre Dame. I don't know how we can overthink that one so much.
I it was because of how they had everything ranked because they had Notre Dame ranked over Miami for those few weeks. And you know, don't get me wrong, I'm a Florida State fan. I can't stand the Hurricanes, but they it was just how the rankings came out. And you know, Notre Dame put out their statement. And what I also think is crap is not giving those kids who, especially the seniors on your team, how are you not going to give them a chance to experience bowl week one last time? Regardless where you go, it's not about you at that point. It's about them, and they
Yeah.
just no, we're going to decline and not go anywhere this year. And they're going back to the stipulation next year that as long as Notre Dame finishes in the top 12, they automatically get a spot. Join the conference. Join the conference.
Hell yeah.
But I guess that NBC contract carries a hell of a lot of weight.
Yeah, apparently. That's a really good point, though, man. Think about how most college football players don't see the field. Most college football players don't start, but they work their asses off for 5 years for these programs. Dude, these fifth year seniors, although we don't know their names at all, they earned their right to go to a bowl game by how they worked their asses off, won a bunch of football games. I couldn't agree more. That's horse shit. And honestly, being a huge baby by Notre Dame, I guess I'm kind of indifferent about James Madison and Tulane getting in. I would like to see bigger name programs, RG, but it's just hard for me to hear people bitch that they don't get in when they're 12th and 13th. Do better, do better. And I am going to say this though: if I was to make my own playoff, I would not include Texas, but I would have thought long and hard about it because of what you just said. It's becoming bad for the sport, and that these teams don't want to play anybody anymore just because it'll hurt their standings in the end, and it's just bad for the sport in general. I am hyped though. I am hyped though, and a team I think that maybe should get a little bit more talk about being the possible champion. I like Georgia, but I always like Georgia.
Yeah, they definitely have grown and they look the part. Um, just because I'm an agent of chaos, I want to see Ole Miss do it.
Okay. Oh yeah, why
But
not?
then again, I don't want to see. But then I don't want to see Ole Miss win because that snake got put in his contract that if Ole Miss wins the national championship, that they're still going to pay him the bonus. Not Ole Miss, but LSU was still going to pay Lane Kiffin the bonus money that he would have gotten for coaching the team if Ole Miss were to somehow find a way to win the national championship. Just nuts. Just nuts, man.
Well, it's no secret, man. Coaching super agent Jimmy Sexton is just working over every single college administration when it comes to these contracts, man. He's taking these dudes to school.
Jimmy Sexton doesn't only have coaching uh, clients as well too. He's got a long list of some other interesting clients that, if you did some research about, might make you a little bit sick. But this isn't a conspiracy show.
Fair enough. Fair enough, man.
Anything else you got for the people?
No, man, just power to the people. It's great to be back with you, big dog. And I love winter football, baby.
Was nice seeing that snow game in Buffalo today.
Hell yeah.
Was nice seeing that. Um, and I was at work and didn't get to chalk it up the last time. I didn't get to enjoy it, but I wish it would have snowed a little bit more during Ohio State, Michigan. That would have been
Yeah,
fun. That's good TV.
it is.
Good snow games are good TV, man. Cool. Well, I think we've done the thing, man. Well, before we go, big shout out Jeff Kent. Jeff Kent was named to the Hall of Fame um, by the players. By one, God, I didn't want to call it the players committee, but one of the subcommittees is going to let Jeff Kent in. I thought that Jeff Kent was a good player, and he just got caught up in the whirlwind bullshit that's Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then all you began to hear about him wasn't his performance on the field; it was how him and Bonds don't get along. And maybe about some of that shit, Jeff Kent may have been right.
Yeah, for real. For real. I
Shout
mean, we
out,
got to keep. He's one of the best hitting second basemen ever. He is definitely one of the best hitting second basemen in our lifetime, RG. That's undisputable.
I think it's deserved. I think it's deserved for him. It's not his fault that that the diva just sucks all the air out of the room.
Something
And
tells
I
me
love
you're on the
Bonds. I
Griffey
love
side.
Bonds, dude. I love Bonds. I just liked him more without the needle.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to each his own, man. To each his own. This has been another episode of Mile Mice, another sports podcast brought to you by Vadian Podcast Services. Shout out to Indy doing this thing in Mother Control in Nashville, Tennessee. Be sure to check out his music page on YouTube. That's the Indy, and check out some of his tracks. Big shout out to our social media director, Katie Masamoto. Thank you for all you do to help us keep an online presence as well too. Don't forget that we try to be live every Sunday, 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. If you can't catch us for the live show, the recording of the episodes normally come out Tuesday morning where you like to get your favorite podcast from. The show isn't anything without the people who listen and support it. So we thank you for those of you who join us live in the chat each and every Sunday, and for those of you who have constantly downloaded the episodes when they do drop. Check us on our socials at My Oh My ASP. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram to see what Katie has cooked up for your entertainment for the week, and also announcements about when we'll be starting showtimes as well too. Again, shout out to Ramona about Baseball Network. We know that it's not a baseball season for them anymore, but hey, they might have some interesting shows you may want to check out. So go give them a look as well too. They do go through some good history if you do like getting lost in romanticizing about baseball. Big shout out to Mother Control Rating Podcast Services, Nashville, Tennessee. Can't do this without the guy on the other side of the screen, Lake Stevens' own Tide Talks 24. I represent the Cinco Cero Cinco. I'm RG. Y'all have a good one. Hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving, man. And we look forward to having fun with you each and every Sunday on My Oh My, another sports podcast.